You and I with Rashmi Shetty is a simple attempt of bringing in stories of people you and I can draw inspiration from. Ordinary folks, extraordinary lives. Their uniqueness and individuality that make them interesting to talk to and to listen to. A reaffirmation of the fact, open your eyes wider, the world is far more beautiful when we acknowledge the presence of both you and I. Today's guest is one who gives hope to dream big and says definitely do not give up. Deepak Kamath, the first fastest Indian to have circumnavigated the world across all 6 continents, the first Asian to have ridden on the Antarctic, all on Indian bikes. Make your life partner your travel partner. It's really fun, he declares. Take notes as he shares nuggets from the University of Life. Hi, Deepak Kamath. What I've read about you is the first fastest Indian to have circumnavigated the world across all 6 continents, the first Asian to have ridden on Antarctica. This itself is incredible, but I am now curious, where did it start? So can you take us back to where it all began?
I can definitely take this back to my parents, because mom used to work in Syndicate Bank, and she had this leave travel program which she used to very meticulously plan and take the family on tours which included the length and breadth of the country. I think the bug of travel was conceptualized then back in those days, in my school days. And in continuation to that, I got into MES College, which is Malleshwaram 15th Cross. And when I did join this college, I got an opportunity to join the 1 Karnataka Armored Squadron, which was a very elite squadron of NCC cadets, wherein we got an opportunity to ride the tanks. Most of the NCC battalions and infantry, they don't really get to see these kind of machinery which the armored forces use, because they're mostly on the ground. I should be thankful to the fantastic lecturers, the professors, the NCC majors who identified, the very aggressive nature of getting onto an adventure in me and really did not stop me or, curtail my interests. I remember the days of getting shortlisted for various of the camps that NCC organized on a national level. I was also shortlisted for the Republic Day camp of 1988, and the icing on the cake was definitely the march on the Rajpath on the 26th of Jan 1988. I think this changed a whole lot of things into the way I looked at what a person can be made getting into the kind of exposure the NCC cadets get. It is the pinnacle in an NCC cadet's career to march on the Rajpath, because you are the elite of 3,000 to 5,000 odd cadets who will gun for that slot in 175 contingent that will eventually march on the Rajpath, rubbing shoulders against the core of the defense forces, which our country, very gloriously showcases on the 26th of Jan every year. As I speak, I get goosebumps when I tell about the experience. I can literally feel myself march on the Rajpath. It was the late Rajiv Gandhi then, who was the Prime Minister. And the other advantage or the opportunity that I got was to march in the PM's rally, which is a day after the 26th of Jan exclusively for the NCC cadets, wherein each of the contingent participating will gun for the coveted flag of that particular year. And Karnataka and Goa contingent has always been there, fighting against so many other states and bringing it back. And that year, to 1988, we got it back. And having tasted what Republic Day was all about, I planned a cycling expedition along with a friend of mine, also from MES College, Guru Raj. This was back in 1988. We cycled around the country under the aegis of the National Cadet Corps, wherein most of the coordination was done by various officers of NCC across different states of the country. We traveled across, we didn't really actually go into the northeastern part, 12,000 kilometers across, I vaguely remember, probably 19 or 20 states of our country in across 4 months. And, to be on the road for 4 months, and I'm talking about 1988, was itself a huge exposure of travel. There are a lot of people who used to say, I don't want to quote a name here, but a particular member of parliament from my own city or my village, he actually shouted at me saying that, what if some truck knocks you off? Is this what you guys do? I mean, come on, if you have to die, you can die in any way. I mean, you don't literally need to be mowed down by a truck, right? But then, we've had a lot of good side of promotions from so many people. And I think, it definitely goes on to parents leaving me to take on such a ride. The college to support this madness. So many unsung heroes. I mean, it's not that, you introduced me very, I really appreciate the kind of introduction I get when people tell me that I'm the only Indian to have ridden across all these 7 continents. But what remains unsung is the so many people who have been, fueling this passion for madness to travel and completely do the unthinkable. I mean, it's literally not possible for me to look back and see, gosh, did I do this? So 1988 was a fabulous cycling ride across my own country. And then obviously people started asking, oh, okay, so now you have done India. So do you think you'll cycle around the world? I said, oh, that's a nice idea. So let me work on it. But then, a lot of things fell in place too fast. And this has been a beautiful education for me, which I believe everybody should realize that nothing comes easy in this world. You need to put in your effort. You need to have the, rigorous and very meticulous planning should you want to achieve anything. I think one of the biggest takeaways that I have learned from these kind of exposures is that no matter how easy things look, but when it comes to executing a particular, anything for that matter, the passion that you're driving, it's not as easy as it looks. People will feel that, I've got a lot of support coming in from ABC people. But then, is that just enough to drive and, poster a success on your wall? It is not. I really encourage people to understand that, the amount of challenges that I have overcome, the amount of learnings that I've had over these period of years to eventually be what I am today. So 1989 was an attempt at riding around the world, and that was one of the biggest disasters in my life.
By cycle?
Yes, cycling.
Oh.
So the Vijayanagar Rotary Club sponsored me a cycle. I had the late Rajiv Gandhi, who was also then the Prime Minister, speak to Air India and get me tickets to wherever Air India flew. I could just, hop into their office and request a ticket to be issued. I mean, as a cyclist, you definitely need to cross continents in one place or the other. So you definitely need, and tickets were the most expensive, component in a travel. Even today they are. There were few people here and there who came on board. Even the college, the MES college was always there. The students,
One sec, Deepak. Here I'm curious. How did the Prime Minister get into this whole game plan of yours? Was it because you had the NCC cadet?
I think I should have told this. 1988, when I went on an All India cycling expedition, I was introduced to Mr. Gandhi through a reliable source. Something that I really don't want to miss out saying this is when I met him, it was through a proper protocol. That was in 1988 as an NCC cadet and cycling, and my name was listed on the roster before the security could clear me in. And in those days, I'm not sure how it works now, but in those days, Mr. Gandhi used to have the daily darshans. So people could go and put up a grievance, or it could be anything. He used to listen, and those 2 or 3 minutes are one of the most beautiful moments that I still cherish with Mr. Gandhi. So 1989, it so happened that I want to do round the world cycling. So I go to Delhi, and unfortunately the known source was not there. It was already inside, and in those days there was no mobile phone, and there was no way that you would reach this guy inside. So I was waiting for an opportunity to walk in, and then I could see a football team from Calcutta, who had in the roster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was number 9, 10. So उनके साथ में घुस गया अंदर. So and then as I went in, I separated from that crowd, and if people have been to these kind of versions, you'll know what I'm trying to say. So we are all standing next to each other. So Mr. Gandhi is coming in from one side of the lawn, and he comes, meets people, then there is a photo opportunity, and then he moves on to the next group, and so he was there. He met the football club team. They all had a picture, and I moved away. Immediately the security came and said, aren't you with them? I said, nahi bhaiya, main alag hu. Then he came. I was with another boy called Nagraj, who was from TCS, who was also trying to cycle around the world. So we both had team up and got into this lawn. And when Mr. Gandhi came this side, the first thing, Rashmi, and these words are embedded in my mind. And it's nice that you asked this question, otherwise I would have literally forgotten this beautiful piece. Yes, Mr. Kamath, how can we help you this time?
He remembered.
I'm not rostered. Remember, I sneaked into the lawn. I'm staying away from the, and there's no introduction at all that I've done to him. He comes, puts his hand around mine, and even in the picture, you could see that I'm hugging to him. I hope people, that photo has been shared on my platform, on websites, on social media. I'm actually hugging to him. That's because, when he hugged me, the cameraman was late by a fraction of a second, by which time Mr. Gandhi had put his hands down and the picture was taken. So that was a very beautiful few minutes. this time it was more than about 5 to 8 minutes that I spent some time explaining to him the rigorous map that I had, saying that, from here to here. And then he connected me to the top brass of Air India. I think it was Mr. Yogeshwar, who was the CEO or managing director of Air India. And then, it was a top-down guidance, and, the formal letter of sponsorship came in. But what I didn't realize was the planning that is required for a cross-border travel. That went completely, unnoticed, and with a lot of pomp and fanfare around the ramparts of Vidhan Soudha. In those days, we used to jump and play around. I'm talking about 88, 89, where security was not that big a challenge. It was there, but with little permissions, we could still get away with a lot of things. And hence, I still believe that those years were the best years for anybody to have traveled. Today, we are so gung-ho about security. There's so much of things that we should not be doing rather than we should be doing. The don'ts have overtaken the do's. So 1989, we got a flag off. When I say we, had Nagraj with me. We got a flag off from the ramparts of Vidhan Soudha, and we cycled to Pune and to Bombay. And from Bombay, we flew to Kenya. That was the first destination. And then we thought we'll cycle through Sudan and into Egypt, and then hop across into Europe and then proceed.
How old were you?
I was, I guess, 18 or 19, around that age. 19, yes, I was 19. Landed in Kenya, and the first thing that we realized was somebody tried to con us. What happened was, in those days, if you remember, as foreign travelers, we all used to line up at the airport for the $20 So even for that, like you used to have a lot of procedures. You need to go to the RBI, fill out forms for those $500, which used to be released by a bank. And they used to ask you, we will give you traveler's checks, American Express traveler's checks or dollars. So they used to limit the currency to, $50 or $100, depending on what you want. But majority of the portion was American Express traveler's checks. The cream was that you get that additional $20, because you never know how much foreign currency you want. So I stood in line with, to get the $20 and landed in Kenya. And I go to the Kenyan, exchange and place the $20. And then there are two cops right next to me saying that you've given a fake note. I still have a copy of that because that currency was retained by the exchange counter in Nairobi. And they said this is a fake note. So I had to literally pull out a hidden another $20 from my bag and give it to those guys to prove that, luckily it was just a $20 bill. And that was a scam, because you are at the airport taking the $20 and you're just flying in because you're flying out. Even today, it's so difficult to identify a good bill versus a bad bill. I don't blame mine, for me to have taken that duplicate note, flown across to Kenya, having, almost nabbed by the cops. And luckily, had just that $20 bill with me. Yeah, but then, yes, we cycled from the airport towards Nairobi. We were trying to get an accommodation because Nairobi has a beautiful Gurudwara. We were trying to identify the address by asking people, though the color really didn't make much of a difference because we are almost like, Indians are. So one guy came by. Within a fraction of a minute, he flipped the American Express pouch. And by the time I could look back and front, this guy is gone. And fortunately, I was able to get hold of one Mr. Shiv Shankar. I remember this name because he was from HMT and he was such a good Samaritan, and he was from Bangalore. He helped reach out to the American Express offices and get me the duplicate, reshoot the American Express traveler's checks, because that's one advantage with the traveler's checks. You just report it lost, American Express issues you almost immediately.
Curious here, Deepak. There was no GPS, there was no Google Maps, no emailing service like we have now. No, did you have mobile phones?
No.
Yeah, so how did you plan your trip across the continents? How did you even put it all together? Didn't you have to coordinate with all the continents you were visiting? Because you were all of 19, yeah. And you were young. No adult with you. You just went on this journey. How did you mentally maybe you thought you can achieve it, but practically, did you set out knowing that it's all in control? Because today with all the technology also we face so many goof-ups.
Well, Rashmi, I think nothing's in control. It's just that, I always tell people that think you can do it and half the battle is won. Okay. I think it is very simple for people to know that you should never underestimate yourself, but give it a best shot. It's not that, just because things are looking hunky-dory that you can do it. No, it's not. And this, an attempted cycling around the world is a classic example of my failure. And I think, from there I moved on, and trust me, from there I've not looked back, because the learnings that I've got from that particular 1989 ride, which unfortunately curtailed in Italy. It did not go beyond Italy because Kenya was one adventure. And then I realized Sudan has closed borders with Kenya because you can't ride through because of the gorilla problem. And that is when Mr. Shiv Shankar, helped us get tickets. So from Kenya, this gentleman comes back to India, and I fly across to Egypt, land in Cairo. I have fun, cycling around Cairo. Went all the way up to Alexandria, put my cycle back in the bus and come back to Cairo. From Cairo, I flew into Athens. From Athens, I started cycling all the way across to Thessaloniki, and that's where, you have a border with Bulgaria. And Bulgaria was an Iron Curtain country wherein the border shut down by 6 o'clock, and they have a campsite. You can pitch a tent and, sleep, and next day morning, the borders open, you're cycling through. Pitch my tent, I lock my cycle to a tree, I sleep. The next morning, the lock is intact, the cycle is gone. So let's not be surprised that in case we miss out any vehicles in Bangalore or India or wherever, like we have such kind of brothers all over the world. So I lodge a complaint with the Greek police because I'm already immigrated out. I'm at the no man's land. Bulgarian police, I lodge a complaint, and then I started hitchhiking into Yugoslavia. There's no more Yugoslavia now. I took a train to Trieste because I had a good friend in Bologna who had told that, like you can come down here, Deepak. We can figure out what can be done. We can speak to the Rotary clubs and we can see if we can get you a cycle. But unfortunately, by the time I reached Italy, with all these hooplas, I got inadvertently delayed. And the turning point in the outlook towards my travel was an incident that happened in Trieste, wherein I was off-boarded the train, which I had taken from Zagreb to Bologna, because I was an Indian, and the Indian passport did not have really great value in those days. And this is from my personal experience, because I'll get to that in a while, and I'm not sure like how people would like to digest this, but there are a lot of people like me, who have taken a cycle and have got themselves lost in so many countries. I know such people. I don't want to pull out names, but push comes to shove, I can pull out those names and I can demand, how did they get their citizenship in those countries? So everybody like me were looked upon as aliens wanting to settle down in a country of a better repute. And I did not hold them responsible at all, because my visa was issued in Egypt. The Italian visa was issued in Egypt. So there's no tracking of my documentation. 36 hours stayed back in Trieste, and in 36 hours, these guys had reached out to Italian consulate in Egypt. Italian consulate in Egypt had reached out to the Ministry of External Affairs in Delhi. Delhi reached out to the Commissioner's office in Bangalore. Commissioner's office reached out to Rajajinagar police station. Rajajinagar police station came, knock, knock, does Deepak Kamath stay here? And the whole protocol was reversed, and only then I was let go into this country. And I got to know about this after I came back, and mom said, you know what? We had a cop knocking on our door. We were so scared that something has happened to you. And then I had to go back to the Rajajinagar police station and tell them that I'm back. And whatever protocol they had to follow was done. So, I realized that one must prepare yourself for travel with all the required visas. You must have the required money to travel. Of course, thanks to the current government and the beautiful PR that late Sushma Swaraj has done for our country, my most recent expeditions have been, welcomed with so much of, and the border controls were so nice and warm for the Indian passport, which was completely not like what I had faced during my 1989 travels. 1989, I switched from cycling to motorcycling. I said, it's a big, beautiful world. I really don't have the time and patience to be cycling around the world when it's so big. I need to see as much as possible in this lifetime. 90, I come back. My mom buys me a second-hand ESD motorcycle from her colleague, because, there is a beautiful song. I don't remember whether it's Tare Zameen Par or, it's Tare Zameen Par. Rishwat dena to khud maa baap ne sikhaya. Yeah, it's just in that song, wherein, Pura Marks Lao or whatever, something like that. So,
I think it's 3 Idiots, if I'm not.
Okay, yeah. I always get confused with that.
Yeah.
So I got really good marks. I mean, not that, outstanding or class distinction or whatever, but fairly good enough to what she wanted. And she got me a second-hand ESD motorcycle. She had got me a scooter, but then scooter was not a boy's thing, is what I thought. And I was pestering her for Yamaha RX 100. In those days, it was the new launch, and I really wanted that bike. But then she said, son, this is what I can get you. And she got it for about 8,000 rupees. And I didn't look back after that. So it was from our own colleague. It was a 1979 B model. And 1990, when she got that for me, I reached out to Ideal Java Motorcycles in Mysore. Like, Mysore was next door, just behind my house. And they were very aggressive in races and rallying and all. I somehow did not see myself getting to be a rallyist. That was not my cup of tea. I would rather take the roads lesser known, travel as far as my wheels can take me. And Mr. Tempton Irani, unfortunately, he passed away a few years back. I'm still in touch with Ms. Shiraz Irani, who's his wife, Mr. Boman Irani, who's the chairman and managing director of Rustomji Properties in Bombay. He was then the director. So we struck a very beautiful bond, and the first was to get the bike done. And I had a friend, a mechanic friend, and we're still good friends here in Bangalore. Baswaraj, he has his workshop in Kamakshipalya now, but in those days we used to stay in Rajajinagar, and that was our boys' adda. His garage was the adda for planning all the adventures or whatever you might want to call it. So the first ride was back in 1990. That took us both Baswaraj and me. We saddled up on one bike, my bike, and explored again the country, more or less the route that I'd taken for my cycling. And we did it for a record, because if normal travel was boring, we said let's add a spice to it. And we covered 10,380 kilometers in roughly around about 18 days across 17 states and Nepal, Kathmandu as well. We wanted to reach Khardungla Pass via Srinagar, but due to a landslide, we were not able to. And when we came back, we told Mr. Tempton that I would really appreciate in case a complete funding is done on this particular ride. And in those days, he sponsored us 14,000 rupees, and a bike from their R&D was given. We started from Kanyakumari and went all the way to Khardungla Pass via the Manali route, which is even today considered to be a little dangerous when compared to the Srinagar route, and Nepal, covering and whole exercise covering 11,180 kilometers in 267 hours. So pretty fast, yeah, it's about 16 days, pretty fast. And this was flashed across in the Limca Book of Records in those days, in the 1992 edition or 1991 edition. Now,
okay, one pause. You have by then gone by cycle to different countries, and you've come back. And when you came back, got this bike, and you traveled all around, how easy was going into different states and getting permissions to move on this rally, to create the record? Was it with Limca sponsoring you, saying that, yeah, so he's going to create a Limca Book of Records and therefore please give him permissions?
No.
How did you manage all that?
No, in India, traveling, I mean, let's face it, the population explosion was still yet to happen. 1990 was not as much population as we are today. I think, we have almost doubled up. So, but still, I feel that, the roads were far empty. There were less motorcycles, there were more cycles, there were more people walking on the road. You could see, more of villages. The road infrastructure was not as good as it is today. And I believe that with the infrastructure and the population, travel has become even more difficult because people have lost patience. People have, missed out on respecting the others on the road, which is something that we really enjoyed when we were doing it back then. But today, in case if people are doing it anything for the record, I really want to tell them, hey guys, take it slow. Probably in my young blood, I did it. But if I really have to look back, I feel that, hey, you know what? I should have taken it slow, is what I personally feel.
What would have changed, Deepak, had you taken it slow?
Well, if I was not chasing a record, then probably, I would have seen India in a better way, more slowly, explored the countryside, seen a lot of more historical monuments and places that this country has to offer, which I did very recently when, I'll come to that during November and December of last year. I went around 4 corners of my country on the KTM 390 adventure, covering about 20,000 kilometers in 60 days. And I've seen such beautiful places which a lot of people may have just heard. But trust me, I've been there, done that, and I really encourage people to travel. The offbeat places. Let's not all run to Manali because it is Manali. Manali was good back in in 90 when I went there. And after that, the next time I went to Manali was only now, and it was claustrophobic. People just want to feel the snow. I don't blame them, because that place has been commercialized and made in such a way that people are lured there to kind of to experience the snow. But then let's look beyond Manali. People should really explore the Northeast, is what I keep telling people, because I missed looking at Northeast for so many years. I've been traveling the length and breadth of this country, but the breadth after Sikkim, I've not been there. It's only 2015 I've really been able to see a lot of places which I've always dreamt of seeing. So I really don't want to jump there.
But I have a question here as far as India's progress is concerned, the climate is concerned, so-called modernity is concerned, and the infrastructure upgrade is concerned. Over the years, since you've been on the road literally, and you've seen to today, has this progress been remarkable for you? Has it made it easy, or how was it? What was better?
I'll relate to my cycling, across the country back in 1988, and I believe Rajasthan had some of the best roads then. They have the best roads even today, and Uttarakhand was not there. Uttarakhand is a very good state. But in my recent ride, I realized that Uttarakhand is a very beautifully maintained state. Orissa has scaled up. I just couldn't believe it when I traveled in 2015 to Orissa with my wife, on a motorcycle across to Guwahati. And, the kind of progress that Orissa has made has been the most phenomenal, eye-hitting realization that I got. Rajasthan stays there. They were good. They are good. They continue to be one of the best states when it comes to land, infrastructure, when it comes to people, when it comes to the patriotism kick that you get when you go into those roads. When you're traveling towards Tanod, or you're going towards Longewala, the kind of the patriotic the josh that you get in your, because you see a lot of tanks. I'm a NCC guy, right? So when I pass these places, even this time when I went on the KTM Four Corners, I passed by so many places where the captured tanks of Pakistan, our own tanks which have glorified the wars. Those are all displayed as a very momentous appreciation of the wars that we have won. So Rajasthan is there. I don't have such good things to say about Gujarat. People say the roads are good, but that I went towards Alang was one of the most horrendous. Exiting run towards the Narayan Sarovar, one of the most horrendous. So I really feel that our country should not be focusing on places where you need to drive traffic of tourists. There are so many places like Lakhpat Fort. People walk into Gujarat, but there are a lot of people, I can assure you, 80 of the 100 people who visit Gujarat will never go to the Lakhpat Fort, because the infrastructure to reach there, zero. So you need to really plan, because it's completely away from your mundane rides or the locations there. What do you know about Gujarat? It's not about the gear. It is gear, but it is not just about the gear, right? It's not just about the run. There is much beyond the run. But these are places that have been over commercialized. I couldn't believe it that run has got permanent structures of tents wherein they have AC and I don't believe a tourist should be exposed, or traveler. There are two things here. Are you a tourist or are you a traveler? Tourists can go there. A traveler would never go there. The way I look at it, I can be shot down. We can deliberate on these 2 points, but the way I look at it, until and unless you get down, get your hands dirty, understand what these people are, in a sense, speak to the locals, eat their local food, walk around with them and understand what their state is, you'll never know what you're getting into.
That's true, because the Run festival is an expensive festival also that people pay a lot to.
See, it is, you draw tourism, which is fine. But then, let people do their own stuff, right? You place the infrastructure in place, but don't drive people to use only that. That is wrong. That's the way the reason I say this is because after having gone into countries like the US, Canada, let's speak about Mexico. I mean, the kind of infrastructure that they have towards the tourist spot, where they encourage you to learn before you know what you are getting into. So, which is like, they say, right, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't, the horse needs to think whether it wants to drink or not. Here, it's like, you drag the water, shove the water into its mouth. I mean, that's what it is about the, these kind of festivals which are so commercially, and for that matter, even Manali. I mean, thankfully, like one of my friends suggested that you don't stay in Manali, don't stay in Kullu. There's a place called Nagar. And trust me, Nagar is heaven. Manali is claustrophobic, Kullu is claustrophobic. And in between this place is Nagar, which is a completely, like there you get people who are really wanting to take it slow.
I am now curious that you've explored so much of our country. I want to know your highest high. You said here is when you see those tanks, the NCC cadet in you comes all alive and you feel so proud. When you left India and you went on this all 6 continent tour and you completed it, became the first Indian, the fastest Indian. When you set out on the journey, was that goal very clear for you? Okay, I'm done with India now and I'm setting out there. Or what prompted you to now step out of the country because you'd seen everything here and you wanted to now explore outside? How did that happen?
Yeah, it was a beautiful transition, Rashmi, when I completed this 1990 ride across India. 1991, there were people who were zipping around the world in a car. And what I remember is Neena and Saluddin Chowdhury from Calcutta were the first Indian couple who circumnavigated the world, followed by, there is a team called the British Army in UK who beat Saluddin and Neena Chowdhury. And Saluddin and Neena Chowdhury went ahead and beat the British Army guys by a few hours and a day. And then later, Naveen Kapila and his team from Delhi, there were 3 people in a Hindustan Contessa who zipped around the world and beat Neela and Saluddin Chowdhury. After which Guinness just said, hey guys, stop. We are not encouraging this records anymore because these guys are zipping around the world on public roads. And to your specific question earlier, you actually hinted this question, like, in case you're doing it for the record, does anybody specifically look at roads and give us a clear way? No, they don't. So we need to be extra cautious that we don't run down anybody. So but by then the first record was 53 days. So the Guinness had stipulated that you need to cover 1,000 miles in each continent. You need to cover all the 6 continents. You should not be using the same road twice. The total distance covered should be the length of the equator, that's 40,070.03 kilometers, or roughly around 25,000 miles. So with this, you need to plan your route in such a way that you cover this length of the equator across all the 6 continents without using the same road twice. No maps. Google was not born. We need to piggyback on paper maps, and I think phenomenal maps. What India had got was TTK maps.
Yes.
I still have them. But then for my ride, I use the AAA maps of the US, the American Automobile Association maps, which one of my friends coordinated and had them shipped across the US, and it was all postal services. The postman was God. I mean, if you really can understand what I mean.
Oh yes, perfectly. He was such an integral part of Happy and Sad News.
The sponsorship letters that came our way was like, oh my God. Yeah. So the idea was mooted with Mr. Boman Irani. And when I saw these guys zipping around the world in a car, I told Boman, hey, you know what, Boman, let's do it on a SD. So his immediate reaction was, are you nuts? 10 days later, he comes back and says, hey, you know what, Deepak? Let's do it. And 10 days, he was not just left alone. I mean, I used to poke him, hey, Boman, have you thought about it? And in those days, it was easy to reach, people who had the power to decide. And I really felt that, they were in a little bad shape because with the advent of the 100cc motorcycles, ASD was losing ground. They had been into a couple of lockouts and, the X number of problems, which eventually, took over and made them shut down in 1996 or 95. Just after the ride I came back from. So 10 days later, yes, he said, yes, let's do it. And then there was no looking back. And I started coordinating with the maps. So first I wanted to know, should I be heading east or should I be heading west? And what is it that I should be doing so that I don't repeat the mistakes of 1989. So yes, the route was done in such a way that I got the required kilometers. I was hoping that there was no tension with any of the countries' borders, because last time Kenya and Sudan, couple of incidents here. Libya gave me a visa, but they first stamped a visa on my passport, and then I had a interview with them. And when they realized that I was going on a motorcycle, even before I could explain to them, they canceled my visa. So that's the only cancelled visa that I have on my passport. I have 4 booklets of passports, and every time I travel, I keep that in front of the immigration officer, and it's done, no questions asked. So that's the power now. I really feel that I've been blessed with I can go on.
What a beautiful space to be in. But when you look back on this and your ride on the Antarctic, what is it that has been your biggest high and your lowest low?
Well, the lowest low, I don't know, because after 1994, it was an absolute thundering success. The low was, yes, 1991 was the original plan to circumnavigate the world. It spilled into 92, and just about the time when things were falling in place, 93, I lost my mom. So I lost 93 as well. And finally, I realized it in 94. So here, what I really wish to highlight is, I did not give up. There were so many ups and downs. Putting together a massive project. In those days, it costed me about 12 lakhs to go around the world.
And you got sponsorships completely, or you had to dip into your savings?
No. In fact, YesD took care of a very major portion of the cost. But all the others, I don't want to quote a figure here, but what I really appreciate is, they did come on board as support in whichever form they could. Even with the little bit of cash was also a great help, because you never know, you just might be running short of 100 rupees and there's somebody giving you that 100 rupees. That's important. That help is important. The 100 rupees is not. So I really don't remember. I do know, but I really don't want to make that a big thing. But then people did come up. Canara Bank were my official bankers. They helped convert my cash. They gave me a bank guarantee without keeping any money. You need to have a passport for the motorcycle, which is called the Carnet de Passage. So you need to have a bank deposit, a bank guarantee, which is 200% the value of the motorcycle. So I was taking my 1979 motorcycle. So the value of the motorcycle was at 5,000 rupees. But even 5,000 rupees, I did not have that 5,000 rupees to keep it in the bank and get a bank guarantee. So the Canara Bank guys said, okay, we'll give you a bank guarantee, not to worry. So without keeping a deposit, getting a bank guarantee was one of the biggest things. 5,000 rupees was like 5 lakhs in those days, right? So I had Crompton Greaves batteries. They don't manufacture the batteries anymore. We had add-on horns, again from Bangalore, and nowhere did we use the horns, because honking is an offense in most of in all the other Western countries, except in India and Nairobi, in Egypt. Egypt is an extended part of Bombay.
Okay, you told us the lowest low. What's been your highest high?
Chasing a dream to ride on the 7th continent. I think I've lived through that dream for the last 30 years. And finally, when during my most recent ride across the American continents, when I told Bajaj that, hey, you know what, guys, will I get an opportunity to take my motorcycle and ride on the Antarctica? And the kind of support that I got. See, okay, so Bajaj does not have a dealership in Antarctica. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need to sell anything. But in spite of that, these guys came up and said, okay, you know what, we're going to help you out. So let us know what it takes, and we are there to support you. So that's what happened. And I landed the Bajaj Dominar on the iceberg on the 1st of Jan 2019, I think, and flew my tricolor there. So I carry a flag wherever I go, and I make sure that I take a picture of places where no Indians have gone. From a motorcycle standpoint, I mean, Indians have traveled to Antarctica. It's no big deal. I mean, it's not an unknown thing. But then I took a motorcycle there. I rode a motorcycle between two bases, which was completely unexpected. And because I was sailing with the Russians, we landed in the Bellingshausen base, and I got to ride about 8 kilometers between General Artigas military base of Uruguay and the Russians' Bellingshausen base. So I think I didn't ask for this. And again, the captain with whom I was sailing was also a person who could relate his adventures to mine, or the dreams what I used to speak about. He could relate it because he's been on the boat since the age of 7, and today he is commanding 2 ships.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, and it's only like-minded people will realize what I'm trying to explain here.
From all that you shared, Deepak, the first big lesson you told us was never give up.
Yeah.
And the next lessons which fell in place, at least that I picked up, I don't know if I missed other lessons in the process, is you never know when your network would come as a saving grace to your dream. But whether you have the network or not, dream big. You will somehow make it come true.
Absolutely. I believe people should focus. I always tell this as well. Family is very important. 1994, after my circumnavigation, 95, I was working with ESD before Baman called me and said, Deepak, you should move on because I don't see a future for you here. At 1995 end or something like that, ESD shut down, never to be reopened again. And he moved back to Bombay. And a lot of bad things, for the company, for the employees, the management. I feel really bad. 96, I got married. 98, we were blessed with a daughter. And my focus was just on the family and the child's education. 1996 to 2015, I just disappeared from the so-called motorcycling world. I used to have a two-wheeler, but no big deal. Just commuting to work or running family errands and things like that. Always on a low scale because I was focusing on getting a family well settled. Today, if somebody asks me, what are you doing? I tell them I'm on a sabbatical and I don't know whether I want to go back to work at all. And we have this fight at home most of the time. What do you want to work? No, who should I be working for? What will I do with so much money? Come on, let's enjoy life. So 2015, my wife actually helped me buy a motorcycle that is worthy to do a cross-country rides. And we both traveled close to 45,000 kilometers on the motorcycle across the country. I took her to Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Bhutan, Nepal. I dropped her one time when we were coming back from Arunachal Pradesh. But still, she is a brilliant companion. 2018, when I led a team of 3 across the American continents, I got her into Vancouver, and she was my pillion for 20,000 kilometers across the American continent roads. And I believe that, I always tell people that you should travel with your partner. If you're married, take your wife along. If you're unmarried and in a healthy relationship, take your girlfriend, boyfriend along and travel together. The world is such a beautiful place to be seen together. And I told actually, my sponsors as well that, my wife would be joining this particular stretch of my adventure, and they say, hey, why not? See, this is one thing that I've seen, people who have been associated and people who have been, fueling my passion have always realized, the passion that I bring to the table. Just because I'm sponsored, it's not that, I speak all the good things about the sponsorship. No, there are bad things. The product improvement goes back to the sponsors so that they get an opportunity to refine and, better the product rather than I taking their money and signing a contract and, telling only the good things. The good things come on the social media and I tell the world. The bad things go back to the manufacturer so that, they learn from an association that, it's just not a one-way sided affair, right?
True.
It's two-sided affair. It's only then can success come in.
True. And the underlying feel of all that you spoke right from the beginning, from the time you started, is that of patriotism and love for the country. Because you
Absolutely.
have ridden only Indian bikes.
Yes, that's
Did
exactly right.
you ever at any point of time question yourself, or were you asked, are you sure you can do it on an Indian bike?
Actually, Bajaj itself was a little apprehensive when I told them that I'm going to take your motorcycle on the Road of Bones. The Road of Bones is one of it's the fifth most dangerous road in the world. And when I parked my proposal to the management with Bajaj, frankly, the confidence level was not there. But still, they said, worst case scenario, what can happen? It can break down, right? Let's do it. I mean, so it's like, clapping with both hands. So I had that josh that I can do it. And the company said, let's do it, no matter what. Let's face it. And yes, we put the bike to some of the most torturous tests. A machine can go through the grueling roads, the entire ride of about 45-50 days from Uzbekistan to Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Mongolia and Russia. And when we hoisted the tricolor at Magadan after having partially covered the old summer road of the Road of Bones, which is considered to be a pinnacle of adventure for motorcyclists. People come in from London and go all the way to Magadan. That's a 30,000 plus kilometer road. But we started from Uzbekistan because unfortunately we don't have, cannot get out of India through Pakistan. We still managed to do the 3 bikes. I was leading a team of 3 again. 3 bikes. We did 156 kilometers of absolute torturous roads. Water crossings are as deep as your chest. These kind of experiences are completely unknown within our borders, and hence I encourage people that for an adventure person seeking an adventure, the world is so big. People should explore unknown places rather than going to the same place again and again and again. You've seen your country once, move on. Let's look at another place. Plan. Today, the world has come within your fingertips. It's in your palm. In those days, we had to struggle, right? We are not there. Today, Google, you have so many portals which offer you ticketing services, visa services. Everything is done at the click of a mouse. So plan your travel. I mean, even in a corporate world, I tell people, I was a corporate employee. I worked almost 18 years in a corporate world, 12 years with a single financial institution. And, I always tell people that, you have 104 days that you don't account for in a corporate world because those are your weekends. You have 25 plus days, which are your privilege leaves. Then you have your 8 days, which are mandatory national holidays. All you got to do is, sit and plan where you want to go, which weekends do you want. I used to ride 10,000 kilometers in my mandatory offs, which are 2 weeks. I used to be nice at work. I used to be good with my manager. I always tell people, you don't work for the company, you work for your manager. Make sure that you keep your manager happy. He's the one he or she's the one who's going to sign off your additional requirement of leave. And that's exactly what I did. So in a financial institution, you are required to take 2 weeks off as a mandatory compliance requirement. So I used to take 3 weeks off because I didn't used to waste my leave. And in 3 weeks, I used to take my wife, hop onto a bike, go to Guwahati, go around Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and come back. 10,000 kilometers. People used to ask, do you ever work? And I used to tell them, I've written a blog, Leave and the Art of Motorcycle. You should read that. I mean, of course, now it's overwritten by a new website. But the gist is this. You have almost 140 days at your disposal. What do you do? Don't tell me, you're a couch potato. Today, we are Netflixed.
And on that note, Deepak, give us 3 takeaways of your life so far, what you definitely follow and would want to give as your life lesson, with all the amazing adventures and huge learnings that you've had from the University of Life.
If I have to put myself as an example, I always feel that, one should dream big. Keep focused on the dream so that, you end up with realizing it. As I said, my Antarctica came after 30 years. So the dream was there. I didn't give up. And when a right opportunity comes, you just have to go full ballast. Do it. You can. And most importantly, you should believe in yourself. I think people lose out when they come across a couple of hurdles and shift focus. Confidence is very, very important, and commitment to achieve what you want to do in life. You should know what you want to do in life. I was very clear. First let's know. See, for me, travel has been a bug, but the way I approached travel was different. I took to two wheels, but I don't encourage everybody to do that. Two-wheel has been my choice, but I drive a car as well. I take a flight as well. I take a train, a ship. These are all forms of travel. So travel is essential. That's the way I looked at it. So people might want to decide what they want to do in life and then stay focused.
Wow, stay focused. What powerful words. Thank you so much, Deepak, for sharing this uniqueness about yourself. And that's what makes you absolutely special, far from the maddening crowd around us today. Thank you so much for giving us time for this special You and I with Rashmi Shetty. All the very best, and may your dreams continue to fuel. And before we leave, 6 continents over, Antarctica over, what's your next dream?
Well, I always say, don't count your chicken before they are hatched. So there's something really big coming up, and I'm sure, people will get to know once they hear, on your platform that people always ask me, now everything is done, what's next? It's a big, beautiful world out there. Over 200 countries. I've just been to 37.
Oh, wow. I'll be happy to update everyone who's listening. Tell them what is your next big, beautiful dream. Continue dreaming, and thanks for helping us fuel ours. All the very best, Deepak. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
With that, we come to the end of this weekly quest of You and I with Rashmi Shetty. Do let us know if you know people who make the world beautiful. Write in to rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. That is rashmi.thethirdeye@gmail.com. Come, let's explore this amazing world together, both you and I.